in Wingham is Mick Goodall, a real live urban poet.
On my cowboy in sunglasses, except they're not even tinted. Nice music. So there's two ways of looking at this. I'm either the ginger between the starter and the main course, or I'm the intercourse. Whichever way you want to look at it, it might work. At the tail end of the 70s, punk was one part of a packet of three. There was two chords, reggae and poetry. Attila, Porky, mark my words, Hegley, Circum, Murray's words, JCC and Kwesi Johnston even got to make records. I am not your reggae act. I want to be on your cool bands poster, see my name up in lights. I want to be a rock and roll poser, feel I'm part of the gig tonight. I want to get me a funky lanyard and a shiny fabric wristband, ideally one with AAA on it. I'll tour anywhere, even in Iceland. I want to help myself to your rider, hang around with the cooler kids, drink myself stupid on 8% cider and boast one day to indifferent grandkids. Thank you very much. There's a folks in the eyes, so keep it up. Any cyclists in? You know the type who wear lycra? Okay. This is called Lunchbox. A peloton of cyclists or bikes and extra chains and special pants with seats built in filled up the high-speed train. They hurtled down from London, stopped before the sea, and now we're going home again with curry sauce for tea. Despite their cleats and studs and socks, that ride at times was hell. Now for relief it's Bee Gees songs and gargling San Miguel. The banks were Chips and Strava, camaraderie of men, eased into lycra little caps. It's dress-up time again. Those of you who are familiar with the work of John Cooper Clarke might not be aware of the fact that he's gone off the board a bit, but in conversation with a mutual acquaintance of ours, a poet called Martin Newell, they were talking about what makes poetry good, and poets should read other poets, but when they really push it, they parody the poetry. So with that in mind, this is a little love song called I'm After Johnny. Will you let me be your Johnny Clarke? I want to be the dog that barks. We'll be the voices in the dark, watching box sets of Poldark. Will you be forever home and call not text? It's called a phone. Expect to give this dog a bone. On your coffee, I'll be foam. Will you love me like a horse? I've got the house brand special sauce. Eat kimchi till my voice is hoarse. Our loving will be coarse, of course. Will you be my final date? I am implying mortal mate. Don't delay, don't hesitate. Might not be bad, might not be great. You don't want to die even slightly like I did every night, every time. You don't want to lie like I tried hard not to kid myself it was okay, fine. You don't want to go to the pub like I did, brass neck instant coffee all night. You don't want to claim that it's just the one cup, it's all about the buses that you want to bankrupt. You don't want to live at all like I did, dressed in others' clothes. You don't want to hide so they won't see you cry to know as if nobody knows. You don't want to huddle in a muddle like I did, never stick your neck out as you try to keep warm. You don't want to risk making something special when the proxy surrogates and unwanted yawn. Thank you very much. That's nice to see you here, Dad. I don't want to die an old man's death. I want to die alive. The only fear I want to feel is the one on the thrill of the ride. Let me die before I fail, even if I don't succeed. Allow me grace and freedom from unpleasantness and need. Do not think of me when I stop. I'm gone and won't come back. There's nothing left and no one here. Once I'm dead, that's the fact. Do it now while I'm alive. Hate me, love me, cry. Kiss my hand, spit in my eye, fight me, sing to me, tell me your lies. You cannot do that when I've died, so do whatever now. There are no returns or refunds made. Don't say you didn't try. Any fans of Canada? Right. Any fans of watching a grown man doing a very bad Pamela's impression that sounds more like Ernie? Well, it's a true story. I was in a car with a friend of mine a while ago, and an animal leapt out in front of us, and I don't know what happened to it, but I thought it could be commemorated in a poem delivered in the style of Pamela's. This is called Stoat. Oh my word, I said out loud when I was driving home. Is that a stoat I saw a head standing in the road? I rather hope it wasn't, as I think I mowed it down. Might have been a fox, I suppose, not in that part of town. Can't be helped, I'll clean the tires, there's not much else to do, as Mr. Stoat or Mrs. Stoat won't ever make the news. I expect that you are thinking now this is not one of her wittiest poems. There's no obvious gag or punchline coming, and you think I'd best be going. I wasn't being sweet and rustic enough, coming over cynical, blasé. There's more to life than teeth and my old man, but that stuff it don't well pay. So here's to all the trivia that life is mostly made of, when you don't look out for the big stuff, like justice, peace, and kindness, or in my case, a stoat. Probably the biggest disadvantage of writing poetry is if you've got a girlfriend, which in itself is remarkable, never poet with a girlfriend, is they go, was that about me? And if you say no, because it never is, they say, why don't you write one about me? So you're stuck whichever way it goes. So with that in mind, this isn't for anybody in particular, although she probably recognises herself. I was a rich woman's plaything. At the click of her fingers, I'd come. When she wanted to get my attention, she'd manoeuvre me under her thumb. I was willing to join in the action and would dance for amusements and mood, and if given a decent incentive, would trade for excitement, quite rude. With a kiss is how she dismissed me, or perhaps more precisely a peck, with the prospect of something vague later when I'd healed up the holes in my neck. At the root of our trouble was money, that she had it and I never could, though I had something else that she wanted. More than wealth is what I understood. Anybody been to see a band who've reunited after 30 odd years inexplicably, not for the money at all, but to we all have. And there's a lesson in that for all of us. I don't know what it is, but there is a lesson. This is called Yesterday's Heroes. I suggest that you don't meet your heroes. Keep them safe in your head. Let them rest. In the flesh, they're much shorter or ruder, and they look well a bit past their best. Please think twice now it's 30 years later, because you missed them when they were profound. You're just paying a debt to your memory while at least one of them is still around. For the past is already gone AWOL, it won't ever come this way again. The risk to nostalgia is brutal, and once squandered is never the same. If you do, come prepared for a letdown, and the feeling you should have stayed home, as you catch yourself looking at others, watching you, knowing they're not alone. Then again, you might just feel connected, with a piece of your youth be at lost, where the extra-sized t-shirt and prove it overlook the obscene ticket cost. As for Martin and Mark, Greg and Elvis, you're the proof of my theory, live proud. I saw fear in your eyes or disinterest. I was not just a face in the crowd. They're not gods, superhumans or icons, just your favourites from summers long past. Carpe diem, my friends, and remember, we're still young and we're having a blast. Can poets write the blues? There was never, ever could be a howling Ted Hughes. He married Sylvia Plath, an American. Did he wake up one morning, fear the news of his abuse somewhat different to the fawning? Really had no excuse, he was laureate. He couldn't really write My Baby's Left Me, not after that monoxide night when she left herself. Yeah, as obviously we go for the intellectual ones, or we reference dead poets, because that always goes down well. It reminds me of this one. Applause rang out like sniper fire. The audience was thin, more like a seance than a gig. It really was that dire. At least the drunks had stayed at home, their livers had packed in. Or you can follow me on Facebook. But I'm also known as the Bard of Broadstairs for legal reasons. So don't hesitate to have a look at that if you want to see more of this. So this is my last poem for this year. Do you remember when you at last felt lust? When you really, really wouldn't, but you absolutely must? When the red mist rises, but that isn't all that stands, and if there is any alternative, well, it isn't in your hands. Can you conjure up how that really, really felt when the smell of burning rubber was an asphalt melt, and you no longer cared at the cost of your drive? You're connected with the primal and you're feeling so alive. When it ebbs away and you don't know what to say, if you're really, really lucky, you will die another day. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.